Hey everyone, Grandpa Bobby. I'm here with another video today of home project with our 2013 Ford Edge. Guess what? The handle broke off on the interior driver's side door. Let me show you what has happened. On the driver's side of this 2013 Ford Edge, this plastic handle broke off. And you're going to see in the video when we work on it, Ford wanted $230 of the OEM. I got it for $160. I just didn't want to take a chance on some, real aftermarket ones, but next time I think I will try to do something a little bit cheaper.
Hey everyone. To get started, I did a PowerPoint presentation that's going to have various steps. So this is what we're going to do to show you the details of what you need to do. And I'm also talk to you about the mistakes I made. Now take a look at the top right. That is my style handle. Notice the lock mechanism is part of the actual panel. Where you look at the one down below, it is part of a 2007 to 2010 model, which has a bezel around it that you can remove, and then you can remove the door handle. But even then, that method is really hard to do because of the tight quarters you have to work with getting the wire over the handle. So you really need to remove the panel to do my method correctly, but the other method could be done without removing the panel, but it'd be much easier. Now again, you can see on the top left, my door has the lock mechanism, which is part of my panel, which you must remove the panel and then remove the bezel that's behind it with two T20 screws for you to be able to replace the lock. Let's go to the next step. Alright, the first thing you're going to do, open up your door and you can see the interior door cap. That has to be removed, but please note, I didn't know this. To remove it, you must unclip the top portion and then you can pull up, just like a remote control putting the battery in. So again, pry from the top and use some pry tools like I suggested here in the video. Now in this step, I removed the window control switch module. Now I again was wrong. See the red arrow? You must pry from that end first. You can look over to the right, you can see the clip, and then again, it's just like a remote control, it pulls away from the front. So I was incorrect on doing that. So by doing this for you, now you know exactly where to pry it up properly. The next thing you want to do is remove the two connectors plugging into the window control switch module. You just press the tabs as you see on the red arrows on the right hand side. Just press them in and you pull them out, and then what you can do is stuff it back down for the next operation. Alright, the next thing to do is to remove two 10mm bolts. One is in the front underneath the handle, that cap we removed, and one's underneath the window control module. So go ahead and remove those with your socket. Now I used a 10mm 6-point deep socket. Notice I use a little magnetic tool to help pull the bolt out on the right hand side, and be very careful, it could fall down. And also notice I stuffed a rag underneath the left hand side there to prevent the bolt from losing the bolt. So just a tip of the day for you. Alright, the next thing you want to do is that you have three Phillips number 2 screws to remove. One from the front, you can see with a little Phillips screwdriver I'm removing, and then I have two along the bottom. So remove these screws and then go to the next. Alright, the next operation is to take a pry tool and pry the plastic panel away from the bottom of the frame, and then work yourself around, and once it's nice and loose, we'll go to the next step to lift it up off the door, and I'll tell you what you need to be prepared for when you do that operation. Now before we lift this panel off the door window channel, you must have some bungee cord standing by. So you see the bungee on the right hand side, because you've got connectors plugged into this and you have to do this by yourself. But in the next operation, my neighbor stopped by, and I'm going to give a shout out to Wes for helping me on this last connector I had a hard time on. Again, thank you very much, Wes, my great neighbor that came over to help me. what happened is, see this one switch, which is the door switch? It has 4 tabs that have to be lifted up at kind of simultaneously at the same time, and you have to pry outward. So you could do it with 4 little screwdrivers or get some wood toothpicks, but that is why you need that bungee if you're doing this by yourself. You can't hold the door up and do this at the same time, so use that method to help you out. I forgot to mention there's 2 more connectors that you need to remove before you can completely remove the panel. Now, since we've removed the panel, let me make a notation of the door panel retainer clips. Sometimes they can stay in the frame and you have to pull them out and put them back in the panel. So when you put the panel back on, make sure your door panel retainer clips are in position as shown below. And by the way, you can buy them on the internet, so I put the part number for you just in case you lose one. This next operation is to remove the bezel. Notice the bezel is held by 2 T20 screws. Once you remove those screws, the black bezel can be moved to the side and you can easily get to the lock mechanism, and you can press the little tabs on the green retaining tab and remove the cable, and you have plenty of room to work to put this in. And at the same time, on my broken door handle, all you have to do is take a pair of vice grips, grab it, take a hammer, knock it forward to knock it out of place. So the way it goes in position here, it snaps in at the top and there's a hole at the bottom. Here's a quick video showing you how it goes into the handle, but notice the bezel should have been removed, so that's one part I didn't do in this video. Again, when you attach that cable to the handle, you must remove the bezel, and then you're able to slide that green cable out where you have plenty of room to work. Alright, this is showing the handle installed, but what I did is that with that bezel removed, I put the bottom pin of the handle in the bottom hole. It was at an angle, and all I had to do is put it into the groove at the top and just lift up. You have to push a little hard on it, but lift up and it'll snap in place and you're done. And then the next phase is to put the bezel back. Okay, now we're just going to put the bezel back. Just slide the bezel over the handle, reinstall the 2 T20 screws, and we'll go to the next step. Okay, we're ready to put the panel back on. So what we're going to do is put the panel on with the bungee cord, and let's go plug in the rest of the connectors. Let's put in that lock that we removed with the 4 tabs, push it in and snap in place, and then connect the other 2 connectors, and then we're going to get ready to put the panel back on. You're not going to believe it, but the tool that you need is a smoothie straw with approximately 0.393 in diameter. I used that to slide over my lock mechanism, and then I was able to put my door panel over the window channels, and then I snapped in the bottom pieces, no problem whatsoever. But if you don't use something like this straw, you will never line it up. Okay, we're ready now to reinstall the 2 10mm bolts that we removed earlier. Again, please, I must emphasize, you've worked so hard. Put a rag down there at the end to make sure you don't lose that bolt. Now notice that I put a piece of painter's tape around the other bolt off my deep socket. That's because inside that hole there's a little cavity that bolt could fall back into. So that will help you get started. Okay, here comes the easy part. All you have to do is snap the 2 connectors back in on the window control switch, and then all you have to do is push in the front underneath the lip and then snap the back down, and then go to the end cap and do the same thing. Put the bottom into the groove and then snap the top in place, and you're done. Alright, we have successfully replaced the door handle on the driver's side, which would be the same thing on the passenger, and I assume on the rear doors would be very close to very similar. The main key is you got to remove that bezel. Now, thank you very much for liking my video. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell, and have a blessed day.